was saying, I will start by sharing my screen. Just need access to screen sharing, Emily. Today we will work on the on a project that will mix the Spotify API as well as Unsplash API, and for that, on top of that, we will use account linking. So for those that are following us for a long time now, you already know what account linking is, but I will summarize that for the others. So account linking is a way to gain access to user information without sharing login details as login information and password, for example. So basically, all the authentication is done outside of the skill by the user with the website or the services that the user wants to use in the skill. In that particular example, we are giving us as a user access to our information from Spotify. And then with that, we will get back a token that will allow us to make some calls. And that calls to the Spotify API, we allow us with the user token to access user data. So that's the goal of account linking. We've done that for Fitbit, we've done that for Philips Hue, we've done that for Amazon logging, and now it's time for Spotify. So the first thing we need to do, and the first thing you will have to do when you create a new project is to upload that project, even if you haven't done anything yet. But so that's what I've done already. It's just to give you access, so to create the skill as well as the skill ID, but also some URI that you will need to use in the app creation on the Spotify dev portal. So it's worked pretty much the same all the time. You will have to do account linking. You will have to create an app on the service portal, so the service you want to use. Spotify in that case, create an application, and the application will give you an ID and a secret code. And this is what will link your app, in that case, the skill, to the app in Spotify. And with that, we will be able to exchange some information. And what we want is a token, an access token. So first thing, again, upload the project, even if it's an empty one, to Alexa Developer Console. And in the meantime, you will have to go to developer.spotify.com. And by the way, you will have that URL right there in the project. On that dashboard, you can create a new app. If you don't have any account, you need a Spotify account for even to create an app on the dev portal. But you can create a free account. That's what I've done as a French guy. I'm using Deezer, but yeah, you don't have to get on a premium account to at least test that project. So what we want to do, when you log in, you will have to create an application. So this is what we are going to do here. You will give it a name, a description. This is a test app for our fix-it hour. I understand that I will need permission to put that in production, so in a commercial project, and understand and agree with Spotify term. I've already read them. Create. So as you can see, we now have a client ID and this is one of the information we will need for the account linking setup, as well as the client secret, this one. The other thing we will have to do is in the edit settings, we will have to add some redirect URI. And this is why we have to upload the skill first. So right there in the Alexa Developer Console, when you just upload the skill, you have the success message with a link. The link will redirect you to the test page. But for this, we want to go to the Build tab. The Build tab will have the information we want. That's also where you can tweak some settings for your skill. But right now, we want to go to Tools, Account Linking, and nothing is set up yet because I haven't set up the account linking card. So I've uploaded an empty card. So this is why nothing is set up yet here. And what we want to do is grab all the Alexa redirect URLs and put that in our Spotify app. So right there, redirect URI. I'm adding this one, and I will do this for all of them. So you have 3 URL to add. So that's another one, and the last one. And so why this is important, because when the user will launch the skill and after we have set up the account linking card, Alexa will send the user to Spotify, to the auth page or the authentication dialog. And when the user will fill that information, so login and password, if all that detail are correct, Spotify will send us the token to one of those. And that's why we need those URL to be the same as the skill we are using. By the way, this one is for Asia, this one is for US, I think, and this one is for Europe. So sometimes you can't add multiple URL. So keep in mind that if you are targeting US only, that's the one you will want to use, Asia, etc. But most of the time now you will be able to add multiple URL. So we want to save that, and we will start to populate the account linking step and card here in our project. So client ID, client secret, let's go back to that page. So we need the client secret. What we need also is a URL authorization as well as an access token URL. And you will see that we will also need to set up or to add some scopes. Let's start by those information, where I can find that, where I can find the information for those 2 URLs. So easy, it's in the documentation, always in the documentation, I know. That's mean that you will have to read that, but yeah, it's always a good way to understand how things are working, what you should expect, what your user will see, and basically how everything is working. So as you can see here, that's the authorization guide. The following code generate a request form for the scope, user read private and user read email. So in that line, we already know that we can start using this with those 2 scope. Of course, you can have more detail here about the scope you can use. But yeah, authorization scope. and you have everything here. So if you want to do some stuff with playlist, the user's playlist, you will need those scope. And of course, you have some read-only, read-write, so that's the modify, and a lot of other scope to get access to user information. What we are using today is the user read email as well as the user read private. I think. Let me check. Yeah, that's it. So read-only, we don't need other scope for this project. As you can see, also we have that URL authorized, and that's I will not go through the all the documentation, but basically, if you go to, actually, I will go through the documentation just for you to see. Step 1, get authorized, and after that, step 2 is mostly grabbing the token. So that's the one. And again, things are well done. So most of the time, it's the same process for all the account linking. So let's grab this little URL here and put that in the URL authorization and access token. Well, just need to go to step 2 and grab this one. So this one will open the web page where the user will have access to this and authorize the app, and the other one will bring back the token to the skill. Scope, again, we need user read email, and the second one is user read private. That's it. Okay, we are ready to go. So I will upload that to Alexa, but in the meantime, I will show you what we are going to do and what APIs we are going to use for that. So the project itself is not that complicated. Basically, what we want to do is, as soon as the user launched the app, the voice app, we will ask them if they want something more relaxing or something more with more energy. You can think of that as like a routine. When you come back home and you want to rest a bit, you can ask for relaxing music and stuff. The fact that we are using the API, the Spotify API, and that API is linked to the user account, that's something that will allow us to use the data Spotify already has for the user. And as we are going to use the recommendation endpoint, it should give us some track and music that are corresponding to the user likes. So or user test. For this project, we will stick to a simple example. So do you want relaxing song? Do you want energized song? And regarding the genre the user choose, we will ask the Spotify API to give us some recommendation for that, and then play the preview to the user. So the user will have access to a 20 seconds audio preview. So they can, if they like a song, for example, they can ask the device to play it. Of course, you can go way further, and you can, for example, add sentiment analysis, and instead of asking the user, you can simply start a conversation with the user, and from the responses, from the answers that the user will give you, you can do a sentiment analysis and, okay, know that if the user is in a good mood, a bad mood, positive, not positive, and try to inverse the thing. So if a user had a bad day, we may want to pump them a bit and give them more energy, for example. So that's something you can think of. Obviously, we will not go that far today because we only have 1 hour, actually 40 minutes now. So
yeah, I'm sorry,
but
can I?
sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of new to this. So can you maybe later point me to the documentation regarding the sentiment analysis? Is something that Voiceflow supports?
This is something that Voiceflow support in the fact that you can use the API block to call whatever API you want. We don't do that natively in Voiceflow, but
okay.
Yeah, sure. That's something I can share with you. Just leave me your email in the chat, and I can share some link with you to some great API you can use to do this.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And yeah, basically you will just have to use the API block, ping the API with whatever utterance the user you will have from the user, and then get a positive or negative or happy or sad information, and from that you can redirect the user to the corresponding path. The other thing you can do is, for example, so we are using the get recommendation API call from the Spotify API. As you can see, what we are going to use is the genre, so the seed genres, whatever. So you can put up to 5 seed, and this will give you some track that are corresponding to this. We will do that for relaxing and energizing song. But you can go again way further by using like personalization. So this endpoint will help you to retrieve some information about the user listening a bit. And if you click on the link, you will see that you can grab some genres. So for example, if you have some happy genre that the user like to listen to, you can, instead of just using pre-made genre playlist, you can use those, and you will be more precise on the recommendation. So again, that's something you can think of. You have a lot of stuff you can do here. Playlist. So for example, you can preview the audio, and if the user like that, they will ask the skill to add that to their playlist, for example. So that can also be like a recommendation project where every time the user likes something, they will add that to a specific playlist, and then you can populate that playlist. And the more you populate that, the more recommendation will be precise. And you will learn. You will have more data to learn. So if we go back to the skill, we will see that the main part is here. So we have the account linking permission or information request. If we have access to a token, and we are mapping that information to the access token variable, that's a built-in variable in Voiceflow. If we don't have access yet, it means that the user do not have done the account linking yet, and we will ask the user to do that, and then exit the skill. We will just ask them to go to the Alexa app, do the authentication, and then launch the skill again. Hopefully, the second time we will have a success because we will have access to the token. And then that's the main prompt. Do you want to feel more energized or more relaxed? Again, that's a simple one for this project. You can go well in this, but yeah, that's what we are doing today. And we are using a simple prompt to listen to whatever the user will say. How we are going to handle the user utterance regarding the, do you want to feel more energized or more relaxed? Well, we are using intent step. So those two steps are here to handle the relax or energize utterance. So that's the relaxed intent, and the user can say, give me a more relaxed one, give me a more relaxing song, relax it, and all the relax utterance related thing, and the energize, pretty much the same thing, but all about the energy and energize utterance. We also have a next and another intent. Those one will be used when we are playing the audio, at least for the APL, because we are also using APL in that skill. So on a device with a display, the user will be able to say next and listen to another one, or stuff like more like this, I want another one, give me more, another one. So that's it for how we are going to handle the user utterance with those intent. So let's say for that first part, I want to listen to a more relaxed song. We will trigger that intent. And as you can see, this intent will go right there. So that's our relax block. We have two blocks for that. We have the energized one and the relaxed one. That's how we have designed this project. So the relaxed one will be pretty much a clone of this one. The only thing that we are going to change here is the the call. So the queries of the recommendation endpoint. And that query will be basically this. You can see the C genre here: acoustic, study, soul, sleep, emo. The market is targeting US. This is, for example, you want to do a French skill, you may want to target the FR market. Target energy, that's a good one I found also in the API documentation. So the lower it is, the more, let's say, relaxing the song will be. The higher it is, this is a song that will be more energized, I should say. And we have a limitation here. We put a limitation of 20. That's it for the request URL. The authorization, pretty much a basic here for this kind of API call. We have a barrier as well as the access token. So that's the token we get from the accompanying thing. Content type is application JSON, and yeah, access control allow header. That's a specific one for Spotify with some information. Again, that's the information you can get from the Spotify API documentation. What we want from that call, we'll not be able to do the call right now, to test the call, because we don't have any token. So, but we will try to demo that after our first launch when we will have a token. Response.tracks, we will map that information to an object. Actually, that's a variable, but that variable will be filled with all this information, and we will have multiple information. That's also why we have a bit of here. We will go through the that object, that array, and we will grab a random one. And from that random, we will map the information for the title, the cover, as well as the artist. Another thing here, actually, I'm seeing this. We can optimize that basically by using only one and using variable here in the call. But yeah, just saying that, thinking out loud. But yeah, because that's the same. Those are using the same code. Basically, we should use only one and dynamically change the genre in the URL request. We will just have to set a type, a different type, which we are doing here. But yeah, again, just thinking out loud. So once we have that information from the API call, we want to check which type we are on, or the user select. So let's say we are still on relax. So if type equal energized, which is not the case, we will go to the else step and we will go to that set block. So this block is here to add or set that value to the collection variable. All right, what is all about this collection variable? Well, we are going to use the Unsplash API. Unsplash is, let's refresh that. Unsplash is a service online where you can find a lot of beautiful pictures. And the API is free to use. So again, you just have to create an account, and you will have access to the developer portal, and you have some documentation. I will not go through all the thing here. You will also have to create an app, so you will be able to then do some calls. The app will allow you to generate a token, and that's the token you will need to use in your application. And the collection are dynamically set to make a call and grab all the photo from that specific collection. And of course, we will have an energized collection and a relaxed collection. So collection are a group of images. So you can find right there, you can find multiple collection, a lot of collection, Halloween, whatever, festive, Christmas. And yeah, so regarding what you want to display on your screen, and here we are going to use relax and energize images as a background for the APL. And on top of that, we will display the Spotify information we have, like the album cover or the artist photo, and as well as the title of the track we are listening to. So pretty much the same thing here. We are making a call with the specific collection. Some param here, interesting, that we want to be sure that the orientation is set to landscape, because all the devices at least for Alexa and Apl are in landscape mode. So we want to filter the result to have pictures that are in that format. Here, so instead of barrier, that's a client ID. This is what we will get when you create an app on Unsplash. And same thing here, response, we are mapping the full response to the image object or array. And this object will be handled pretty much the same way we are doing this for the Spotify API. So we are going through that array, and we are randomly getting or choosing one of the image we have. We have some logic here to be sure that that a bit. So this is here only to be sure that the previous background will not be the same as the one we choose. So as we, let's say we have 10 results, we want to be sure that the new one is not the same as the previous one. So that's why we have a do while. This is a kind of a loop with a condition here, if you want. Let's go. Let's continue in that path. So we have our relax audio. We have our background image. What we need to do then next. So what we need to do is to check if the device has a display. So a lot of you already know that a little line of code. That's a very often used one. So we are basically just checking if the device has the Alexa.presentation.apl in the capabilities. If it's the case, we will then use that block to display and load the APL information. If it's not, well, that's a device without a display. So instead, we will use a speak block to preview the audio. We will also send a card with the track or the music title, the artist, as well as a cover. So in the Alexa app, the user will have access to those information. And then we will ask the user if they want to listen to another song. And we are using a variable here, just not to have to do multiple block. So instead of having a block for relax and a block for energize, we are just saying you want another relaxed song or energized song, because we are setting that type value right there when the user trigger the intent. So we know exactly that's basically to add more context. We already know what the user choose and what they are listening to. This is also something we are using next in the, so that's the question. Do you want another relaxed song? The user can say yes, and then we have an if block to redirect that to the corresponding type. Let's say we say yes, we are in the relax song mode. We then go back to the relax block, and we do that again. If the user say no, we are again we are doing we are using the if block to do a specific prompt with like maybe something more relaxing or maybe something more energizing. So if I'm listening to relaxing sound and I say no, the skill will ask me if I want to listen to more energizing sound, for example. And then of course I can say no and exit the skill. So that's for the most of the part and most of the path. Obviously the energized path will be the same. It's just a jar change here, but everything else is the same. And regarding the APL, I will share that with you right now. We'll have a look at what this Apl template looks like, as we need to do some tweak here. Again, we will have the template, and in the data source, we are dynamically setting whatever value we want to be populated in the APL. So the title, the background, the cover, the artist, which will be the name of the artist, and the preview URL. Preview URL will be the audio that we will play. The little trick here is we are going to also use speak item command, and that's the tricky part. There's some issue with APL, and if I'm going to add this prompt right there, when we'll test that on a device or in the simulator, we will have that prompt, and we don't want that. So for example, I'm actually listening to a relaxed song and I say I want to listen to a more energized song. We don't want to have you want another relaxed song, we want to go straight to the intent, and the bug is here. So in that case, if we don't use the this little trick here, there's no real way to bypass that. So what we are doing instead is not using a speak block to do this, but using a speak item. So this is something that will be used in the APL to speak that information, that phrase, instead of using a speak block. And this little trick will allow us to have the APL working as expected. And then we are redirecting that to the choice block. So that's the little difference with the no APL and APL. No APL, you will have the prompt here, and then the choice block. APL, the prompt is within the APL code. So let's give a look at the Apl template. We will not see a lot of stuff here because the data is already set with variable. So that's the Voiceflow variable we will be using. But I will show you a preview on ADC. But that's a pretty simple one. Again, as always, we have a main container. For the image we are using from Unsplash, we are using the Alexa background. And this will allow us to have a correct display for all the type of devices, all kind of devices. And then we will have this little, I don't know if you can see the difference when I'm going over the block, but this little guy here is the image. So that will be the artist image or album picture regarding what we have from Spotify API. This will be a title and the artist name. And of course, to play the audio, we will have a video type item, and the video type item, that's another trick here. We are using the on-end event. The on-end event is something that will basically wait for the execution of the display block in your project. I know most of you already know that, but I want to be sure that new user also know about that. So for example, here, if I didn't have any Voiceflow end event here, the execution will go through without waiting for the end of the audio. So this is not what we want. Instead, we want to be there. Voiceflow has to wait for this to be finished and then continue. And this is what you are doing with the on-end event. This is the Voiceflow video ended. The last trick is this one, the speak item we've talked about earlier. Before ending the display block or the APL and giving back the end to Voiceflow or to the skill, we are speaking the whatever we've set in the data source here, speak. For us, it will be another one. So that should be it. Let me check if I have some question regarding this first, and then we'll test that. Okay, so no question. That's good. Let's actually already uploaded, I think. So let me check that just to be sure that I've uploaded the updated Acom Thinking version.
Actually, I have a really basic question. I'm sorry,
Yep.
as I'm new to it. So if you go to the intents over there.
If I go, yeah, sorry, to the intent.
Yeah. Yes, so I wanted to know that since you have the relax intent, and that directly goes to its block. So I'm not sure what is the better way, because like you have marked the arrow from there to there. If we just directly move that intent block on top of the, inside the blue box,
Yep.
what difference will it make, and how is it better than, not moving it over there?
No difference at all. Actually, I can put that here.
Okay.
It's just that for this one, you will have, because you can't link anything to an intent block, this one, instead of have to start in the top of the block, they will have to start on this one. If you add the, let me add that in actually, so you can see what I mean. So here the relax intent is combined in that right. Combined block. Sure. You don't want to do this. Actually, you can't. So that's fine. But you will have to link the else to this part. That's the only thing. But it will act the same as doing this here. It's just for me that I'm using color coding. So the blue most of the time for me is doing like a background action. So having them here, I've just have all my intent block
on the one side, right?
Yeah, exactly. I can color them to green. Green for me is when we are waiting for user utterance. So it's just more readable for me. All this is all these are the intent, so that's the entry point. All these are the logic or the function we are using. That's the relax, that's the energize, and yeah, again, actually this one should be blue. But yeah, it's really up to you. It's how you want to design or position the block. It's
that's what I was thinking, that it's more about the intention, or is it, is it better this way? But yeah, thank you for that. I got that.
Yeah, there's no best way to do it. It's just the way you want, basically. The best practice is, for example, here, of course, you may want to combine that, because you don't need to have separate blocks just to do this part of the thing. Right. Most of the time, it's best to just combine the block that are doing the same thing, or the specific function you want to. So, for example, the display will do all the display stuff we need. The no display will do all the non-display stuff we need. Yeah. So let's give it a try then. Spotify demo. I will have to authenticate.
Please authorize with your Spotify account on the Alexa app to allow us to preview some music.
So let me
just launch the skill again by saying, Alexa, open Spotify demo.
So I will do that on this page instead of the Alexa app. It will be easier for you to see what I'm doing. So this is the thing you will have on the Alexa app. The card you will have, you need to link the account. This will open the Spotify authorization thing with the app name and stuff, as well as the account you are logging in. So agree, and you should see that. That's the same thing the user will see if the account linking works fine, which is the case here. So we go back to the skill and we will launch that skill again.
Do you want to feel more energized or more relaxed?
More relaxed. So what we have here, so we can listen to the music. One. I will dim that a bit. So as you can see, we have the Unsplash random selected image randomly. We have sort of a gray gradient thing here to give more visibility to the title or the artist and the album title. as well as the album picture. And we will also have the same thing for something went wrong. So we'll have the same thing for the energized part of the skill. It's just that this is from the other collection, Unsplash collection. So yeah, we can use next as this is one of the intent we also use. So the thing with the next intent, I'll stop that right now and get that. As you can see here, for another and next, we do a type control here. So the if, simply because you can say next for when you are listening to a relaxed song or an energized song. So we want to be sure what the context is. And we know that because we have already set the type to a value. So if I'm listening to a relaxed song and I'm saying next, we want to be sure that the next one will be correspond to the actual type I'm listening to. So that's the difference with those two main intent, relaxed and energized, because those intent have already the context in there, because I'm asking for a relaxed song or an energized song. So that's pretty much it, actually. If you want to debug, yeah, that's something I can share with you. Let's say you want to test the skill within the prototype tool. So the prototype tool can't use the account linking. That's a platform-specific thing. So instead, what you can do is basically you can put a speak block here, and you can even you can combine that here and say debug token, for example, and it will give you, if you choose to show the access token, it will give you the access token. So you can then make some call. Let's do this. So I will use it to debug the call in the API call for the Spotify API, for example. Looks like there are a lot of people on ADC right now. So we got a first heavy traffic warning, but most of the time when you have that, wait 2 seconds, try again. Almost there. So again, basically what we are going to do here is launch the skill. And because we have that little debug speak block, we will speak that variable, which is the token. We already have made the account linking, so no need to do that again. We will launch the skill and we will have that. So let's grab this, copy, and now we can use the call. So let's try the energized one this time, custom API. And as you can see, we have a variable here for the token. So if I'm testing the request, Voiceflow and the test tool will ask me for the token. So let's try that. And this is what you will have access to. So as you can see, you have multiple track, and this is what we are mapping to our variable. And those track will have like sub information in them. So that's not sure why it's not. Okay, I can collapse but not expand. So anyway, let's do it again. And I will show you the format for one track. So track 0, you have access to the album information. You have access to the name, you have access to the Spotify external URL, all this information. And by the way, all those information are available in the API documentation, of course. But yeah, it's nice to know that you have a specific section for the artist, a specific section for the album, and some other information like the actual preview URL we are using to play the audio, and same for the other. So we are now on the track 1, and then same thing here. So that's it, I think. Not sure. Yeah, we can also try the Unsplash API call just to show you what we have access to. So the collection, I'm using the relaxed one here, sending the request, and this is what you will have access to. So we should have access to all the images in that collection. And what we are actually using, actually I'm not using the artist name, which is bad, because you want to reward the artist in the photograph. So that's if you are using Unsplash API, like we've done in previous project, we always mention the author, the artist. For this project, if you want to do that and publish this kind of project, please do this, as it's mandatory. But yeah, again, that's the kind of URL we are using. The one we are using is the regular, I think. The raw will be the best quality format, but mostly too big for the display size. So I think regular is the best one. Not sure which one I'm using. Actually, we can see that in the code block. That's the regular. So the regular is fine, at least for the HD format or size of the Alexa screen. Do you have any question regarding that that project, or about the account linking or whatever? If not, we have 5 minutes left, so I can talk about some new stuff and services. That's something I can do during Fix-It Hour if you like it. But it's not the first time a user asked me where I have some information about new services and the stuff I'm using in the project. Most of those information are from product end, and again, I'm doing this on a weekly basis. So for this week, what I've found interesting for those of you that are using data and like they want to do a kind of a CMS kind of use with Voiceflow, Canonic is a good way to do this, as you will be able to create a model and like a database if you want, and from that model you will be able to generate an API, and you can then access that API from within Voiceflow, which is great. And the also good thing is the CMS part of it. So you can also share. This is the editing version of your database. So for this example, they are making a movie kind of database with different information, but they also have a CMS view where the user can fill all the needed field here, and that will populate the database. And as soon as you will use the API, you will have access to the new information. So again, that's a good add-on for Voiceflow for Voiceflow, and yeah, it's cover pretty much everything you need. It's a way more powerful than Google Sheet for sure. So Google Sheet is fine for prototyping, but if you are going to the production part of the project, that's the kind of services you may want to look at. The other thing is, again, it's as it's something that most of the user try to find. That's also something I'm regularly seeing on Facebook page, is basically where to find some sound to use in my scale. So Mixkit is one of the website you can go to, and you will have access to a lot of different type and genre of music, different. You can preview the song. You can download the song. You can upload that to a S3 bucket, for example. And yeah, there's a ton of different songs here. You can use use tag to filter that if you want more lounge kind of song. And yeah, this is something you can use in your skill, and it's free. So that can be interesting when you try to create an environment or an atmosphere in your skill, or simply if you are using an ambient skill or this kind of this type of skill. That's a good spot to check. They also have some images. So one of those, I've used one of them in my latest skill. So that's not sure why. Okay, you need to go right there. I think music, heart, and yeah, they have this kind of images which can be nice for as a background for your Apl template. I'm using this one actually, and I'm just doing a little of parallax in the Apl source code to rotate the thing while the user is listening to an audio. But yeah, they have some great images here also. Well, that's it. Time to go, and happy to see you next week. We'll just save that information from the chat to be sure that I can send you the link you need. Let me check that for you guys. You guys should think about putting together a list and display it in the no-code marketplace blog directly on the Flow service, just as this glitch, Airtable, etc. Think about putting together a list. A list of what, actually? Not sure. Like the list of bookmark we have for the services and stuff like that. Oh, okay, yeah. Services just as glitch or Airtable. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, actually, the growth team, Emily, is working also on kind of a resource page, and that's something we can add. We can add there. So yeah, good point. That's something we can think of. But yeah, I'm using this kind of stuff already. So I have some already for you guys. That will be easy to share with you. But I will keep that in mind. I will talk to Emily about that. See you. Always a pleasure. See you next week. Bye.
Thanks so much, guys. Bye.